Intermix Radio, your music smoothie. Playing the best of your 80s and 90s music. WYMS.
That's right, you're checking out
Digital Radio, Palmetto, Georgia.
You're now tuned in to Let's Talk with Lady Blend on Intermix Radio.
Good evening and welcome to our midweek smoothie. I am Lady Blend and you are listening to Intermix Radio, and we have a special edition of our midweek smoothie where we are celebrating Women's History Month. I have a very special guest here today and I'm going to introduce her a little bit later, but let's talk a little bit about Women's History Month. So Women's History Month provides a time for the individual and collective acknowledgments of women's contributions, both past and present. Women's History Month is a dedicated month to reflect on the often, I said that one more time, often overlooked contributions of women to U.S. history. Now, the actual celebration of Women's History Month grew out of a week-long celebration of women's contributions to culture, history, and society organized by the School District of Sonoma, California in 1978. Now, every year, there is a theme for Women's History Month. And this year, the theme is Moving Forward Together. I'll say that one more time, moving forward together. And this celebrates women educating and inspiring generations. This theme have dedicated their lives to education, mentorship, and leadership, shaping the minds and futures of all generations. Now, I want to give you one quote here from Maya Angelou, and the quote reads, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." And that sounds just like Miss Angelou. So today, we have, again, I said, a special guest here. Her name is Miss Tamika Rowe. I'll give you a little bit of her bio, then I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about herself.
Okay.
So Miss Tamika Rowe is a businesswoman, a restaurateur, a beauty brand owner with over 20 years of experience in the restaurant industry. Now, I want to tell you that, of course, on Wednesdays, you can call in. So if you have questions for Ms. Rowe or for myself, that number is 305-898-0271. Miss Tamika Rowe. All right. So, we want me to call you Ms. Rowe or Tamika?
Tamika.
Okay, Tamika. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, again, my name is Tamika Rowe. I'm born and raised in Mobile, Alabama.
Okay.
Moved to Georgia over 25 years ago, but still a deep Alabama girl.
All right.
Always. I've always worked in the restaurant industry, multiple facets of it. Fast food, fast casual, not so much of fine dining,
Okay.
but most of it is more fast casual that I've done. I've started from employee to shift leader to general manager to the vice president to the district manager. So I've done and wore different hats in the industry.
Okay. All right. So talk about the restaurant that's here. It's called Silk at Candler.
Yes. Silk at Candler was birthed or was a vision just for us to have something in my area that I stay in.
Okay.
And just that, something for mature adults to go to, be able to relax, have a good time, and you can go home. So was looking for something with, more square feet and was able to find that. But it's still been obstacles with that, just within the area that it's in.
Right.
To be able to attract more adults to come over there and just feel comfortable.
Right. Okay. So now I want to talk a little bit about. So I see that you have Irv Mika.
Yes.
So Irv Mika is body and hair chef.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that product.
That product, that brand created from just my own hair challenges.
Okay.
I went natural and wanted my hair to look like everybody else's hair that I saw, and realized that every product isn't for your texture.
Right.
That's before I really got into learning my hair and managing my own hair. And washed it one day, and all my hair came out in the bag.
Oh my goodness.
I was devastated. Any product that was on the shelf, I was buying. They say this good. I was Googling, said this good. So one day I went into Walmart, walked around the corner and something said, well, you can have your own brand. Why do you keep coming in here? And I turned around, and that's where it birthed and started from.
Oh, wow.
And the more research I did, I learned that what you have in your refrigerator is what you put in your hair. And that's what got me and got my hair to start growing. And I learned how to mix chemicals, learn how to really adapt the product correctly, and it birthed from there.
Okay, yeah, because I know me actually growing up, I used to hear all the time about eggs and mayonnaise and mixing it up. And I actually did put it on my hair. Yeah. Eggs and mayonnaise for a conditioner. Mm-hmm. So I know what you mean about those products that's in your refrigerator that you can actually use on your hair.
Rosemary.
Right.
Ginger. Onions.
Onions? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, just to dilute it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Dilute it. So a lot of different herbs that you can just buy at your local grocery store. And everybody know about aloe vera.
Right.
It has tremendous value, not just for your hair, but just your whole body.
Right, for your skin too, because you see a lot of aloe vera products. So, are your products for natural and perm and processed hair?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's for natural hair, permed hair, your interracial, your mixed hair, but the product itself is natural. It's a natural-based product. So that was my biggest concern. I still wanted the natural products. Sulfate-free, paraben-free, just no chemicals.
So how long did it take you to get to the product that you wanted? You know, I mean, like trial and error, because we know it takes a lot of trial and error to kind of come out with what you're actually looking for and something that works.
3 to 4 years.
Wow.
Yes. Trial and error, discouragement, stopping, and then you'll get back on the bandwagon. I'm going to do it. And you stop and get back on the bandwagon. And so just really putting the work in for myself to know that if this is what you want to do, you have to stay with it and be consistent.
Right. That perseverance and that resilience definitely says something.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more to Tamika, and we're going to take a break right now.
Okay.
You're now tuned in to Let's Talk with Lady Blend on Intermix Radio.
And we are back. And once again, our guest here in the studio is Miss Tamika Rowe. And we're calling her Tamika today. And we're talking to her about her business and entrepreneurship. We've talked about her owning a restaurant and having a hair care and skincare product. So I want to ask you the question, because a lot of times people are trying to start businesses, and I know you were saying that people were discouraging you when you were trying to do it and all of this. So in terms of being an entrepreneur, how has that been for you being a woman? What challenges have you faced?
Don't compromise on your values. Know your worth. For as investments, just learning and researching, just to be able to tap into more resources, to be able to expand your business, being able to get in the right spaces so you can get real information.
Right, right.
Real information is so much on the internet that some is right, some is not right. But just really being in the right spaces to learn more and to be able to tap in and find you. It's so much out here. The biggest is finding you. Who are you? How can you really maneuver through the roles of this and become what you want to be in whatever piece of your entrepreneurship journey?
Okay, so in knowing that we know we live in this patriarchal society and a lot of the industries are male dominated and all of that. So what have you faced, come up against with that,
Work hard. Work hard. Like I said, again, just knowing your worth, working hard, and finding the right team that aligns with your vision, and constantly advocating for myself and my brand to gain recognition and opportunities that I feel that I deserve.
So how did you come up with Irv Mika?
Well, my fiance's middle name is Irvin.
Okay.
And so this Irv Mika. And I wanted something kind of unique and catchy. So that's how I came up with it.
Okay, so did you get a lot of no's going when you went to people? Like you said, it was part of this is just finding out the resources, finding the right resources, and I'm sure backing, finances, and all of that. Even in products, just gaining products. Did you get a lot of no's?
Yes. I still get a lot of no's. So, plenty of no's. At first, it's discouraging, especially when you have a great product, but over time, you realize those rejections weren't personal.
Okay.
They weren't personal. I looked at it like a redirection. So, it was a redirection for me to keep pushing, for me to keep going, and I'm my own competitor.
Okay.
I'm my biggest challenge. So my mindset can move me or just keep me still.
That's true. And I would say too that and in some other conversations that I've had and said, sometimes we try to compete with other people, but we know that, hair care and skin care and all that it's a very competitive market. Mm-hmm. But when you look at your product as being something that's unique, that it's a unique product, then you decide that you're going to compete with yourself. Yes. So if you're going to outdo anyone, you outdo you.
You outdo you.
You outdo you.
And everybody's pace is different. You see a lot, they're so far along. How do they get there? It's just different. It's different. You learn.
Right.
I don't know what team they have around them. I don't know how long they've really been involved in building out their brand. And so sometimes what you see, it just hasn't started that day. It's been years in the making.
Right. Well, just like you were saying, it took you, 3 years?
3 to 4 years.
3 to 4 years to build this product, to create this product into something that you wanted it to be. So now you said something about support. So what does your support system look like? Because I know we can't do anything by ourselves. So
I have a huge support system. You can't do anything by yourself.
Okay.
In it, when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes it becomes unconscious because you feel that the burden is on you. You're doing it, but I won't be where I'm at without support. It's not possible.
Right, and that kind of takes me back to our theme for this month, moving forward together. And that is important because we hear the saying that we say each one teach one. So moving forward, we're better together and we can accomplish more together.
Yes.
Now, but it's not without the naysayers. You're going to always have someone who's going to say you can't do it or who will try to discourage you from accomplishing your dream. But, like you said, sometimes it's it might be put on pause. You may let it get to you at some point, but you realize what you're doing is important to you and that you can persevere through all of this. So you keep moving forward. That's what's important. That's what's important. All right, we're going to take another break. Hello, hello, hello. We are back. And again, we are celebrating Women's History Month, and I have a very special guest in the studio today, Miss Tamika Rowe. And we are talking to her about her businesses, and we're going to get back a little bit into, we're going to talk about support systems. So she's going to kind of expound on a little bit more about having a support system.
When we were talking about support, it's really important that you understand your support. And I feel that with my support system, it includes family, friends, a network of fellow entrepreneurs who understand the journey. Also, I rely on my team and customers that believe and support my vision, but it's there to help you through the highs and lows. It's very essential.
Okay, I want to give everyone that number again. If you have any questions for Tamika, that number is 305-898-0271. And so when you're talking about, your customers, so because in any business, of course, we want to have repeat customers and we also want to have new customers. So that's very important. And it's important to have, like you were saying, there's a group of entrepreneurs, and I guess you're bouncing ideas off of them, or you said who understand that the challenges that you face. So in terms of being a woman in business, what challenges are you facing, or have you faced, and maybe you still are facing in terms of being a woman? Because like I said, you have men that are in these industries that women tap into, and sometimes it can be a situation where they don't really want you to kind of be there, but sometimes you have to kind of push your way through. So what kind of challenges along the way have you faced? I mean, with the restaurant, and talk about the product too, your product line.
Well, I face more challenges in the restaurant than I have because I worked in it for so long. It's an automatic to believe that the boss is a man. That's the highest superior. Makes the decisions. Everything that happens in the business, the man is the one that does it. And it's just it's natural.
Right.
So, just understanding your lane. Understanding your lane. It can get to you at times. I know how to make decisions. I can be a boss. I understand financials. I understand how to manage a team. But you're only trying to prove something to yourself that you already know that you've been doing.
Right. So you walk into the room and they're talking about business, and they're talking about specifically the restaurant business, and everyone's looking around and they're talking, and it's like, you speak up.
You speak up.
And they're saying, well, yeah, I'm the boss. I am.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's what you get? Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Okay.
Oh, really? And then it's a stunned face. Congratulations. And so it's not discouraging. It used to be, but it's not discouraging. It's that you feel like a person is recognizing that in this day and time, anybody can be your boss.
Right.
And it's a lot of businesses out here, you don't know who your boss is.
That is absolutely true. And sometimes when they find out who it is, that, like you said, they're shocked. And I've seen an experience where, just being in a room of people, and like you said, you get the shock face, or you get the oh really, and all of that. And then sometimes people can be challenging. They want to challenge. Does she really know what she's talking about? Does she really know? So, but yeah. So now, what is your secret for success? Or maybe let me ask this question. How do you define success? Hold on a minute. We have a caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, so my question is, I wanted to know, does she have a website for her products? And is there a local store that you can buy her products from? Does she have her products in any store, or is it just on the website?
Yes, ma'am. I don't have them. They're not in the local store. My website is Irvmika, IRVMIKA, BHC.com.
Okay, IRVMIKA
BHC.com.
HVHP.com.
I'm sorry, C. C is in Charlie. C.
Okay.
Okay, let me repeat that then. So the website is IRVMIKA
Yes.
I wanted to know, does she have a website? Okay, IRVMIKAVHC.com.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, all right, got it.
Okay. What?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we're going to say that one more time. We're going to give the website one more time. And that website, to get products, that is where they can go to that website and see all the products that you have available for sale, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that is IRVMIKABHC.com.
Yes.
All right. So the question was, how do you define success? Because we know that people define success differently. People define success differently. So what does success mean to you?
That's a great question. It's simple, but a great question.
Okay, we're going to give you a moment to think about that question. We're going to take a little break. We're going to come back. And the question is, how do you define success? Hello, hello, hello. We are back. And again, you are listening to Let's Talk with Lady Bland. This is a special edition of our midweek smoothie. We're talking about and celebrating Women's History Month. And so before we went to the break, the question I asked Miss Tamika was, how does she define success? So I'll tell you what I've heard. I've heard this come from some executives before, and they said success is, and it may not be the same, but success is preparation plus opportunity. And so you have to have both of those in order to, I guess, to achieve success. So in your business, what do you view as being success?
In my business, freedom, legacy and influence, work-life balance and happiness, and community contribution.
Okay. And see, I like that work-life balance, because a lot of people look at that work-life balance. It started out, I think, as being one of those catchphrases, kind of something that they say, we could do work-life balance. But you do hear it in like corporate America and government and all those places of work-life balance. And I do think that is important to have a work-life balance. And so in your restaurant, on any given night, I'm saying on every given night, if we're looking at like sales or products or something like that. So what would be a successful night for you? What does that look like?
Everyone's happy, dancing, smiles on their face, enjoying the atmosphere, enjoying each other.
So do you interact with your customers?
Yes.
You do. Okay. Great.
Interact with, I definitely interact with my customers. I'm more of an introvert. I'm not a social butterfly at all. So that's something that's been a huge challenge.
Okay.
Because in this space, you have to be able to communicate.
Absolutely.
You have to be able to communicate. So coming up out the shell, it's not a challenge because I've always managed teams. I always managed people. I was in a corporate environment. Mm-hmm. So when you come to your own, you're doing a whole lot more.
Right.
So you're communicating more, and what you're expecting, you have to remember that it's not already done for you. Right.
Absolutely.
So you're planning. You're thinking on the fly. What you wanted to do 4 hours ago going to change in the next 6. Mm-hmm. And it just understanding how to navigate through it.
Right.
Navigating through the systems with it. But everyone happy. Everyone happy, just having a good time. Okay. And enjoying each other.
Okay. So you also talked about community service. Mm-hmm. So what are you involved in terms of community service?
That's really my number one community. You have to give back. We do a lot of community events, Feed the Hungry. We just did a suitcase drive a few months ago with toiletries. And for Juneteenth, we have another big community project coming up.
Okay.
That will be Feeding the Hungry. We give away a lot of clothes, do just a lot of charitable events, donate. We do a lot of fundraisers. So I won't be where I'm at without it.
Okay.
You have to stay humble.
I definitely agree with that. And you do have to give back to the community because you want to make sure that people know you're there. Mm-hmm. and know that you're around and that you care about the community. Yes. So that is a very good thing to do, to give back to the community. So here's another question. Knowing what you know now, what, if anything, would you do differently? So, or okay. What I wish I would have known X.
Knowing what I know now, I wish I would have started earlier. Okay. In my entrepreneur journey, being more intentional about it, and more intentional about seeking mentorship and not being afraid to ask for help. But every challenge has been a lesson. But I wouldn't trade the experience. Okay. I wouldn't trade the experience. It's made me the businesswoman that I am today. But I wish I would have started earlier.
Okay. So in starting, so how much earlier are you talking? I mean, you said you started out in corporate America.
I started out in corporate America, I always worked for someone else. Mm-hmm. I was always surrounded by entrepreneurs. But just that leap, mm-hmm. that to be afraid just to really do it on my own, that was the hugest, I'm going to say distraction, because I didn't have enough faith in myself. I was afraid to fail.
Okay. And I think that is probably indicative of a lot of people who are in business or who start out in business, is sometimes we're afraid to fail. Mm-hmm. But if you're afraid to fail, it shouldn't stop you from trying. No. Because if you're failing, that means you're doing something. You're moving forward. You're learning a lesson from what happened, right? So you know not to do this again, to try something different. Yes. So that, absolutely. So, but what was that one thing? It had to be something that said, you know what, I'm tired of working for someone else. I want to do this myself. So what was that thing that made you just decide to take that leap of faith and do it?
It was in me that I knew that I wanted to do it. I go from this high position and I'm happy for 3 months. And then I'm like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to work for myself. But just the stagnation of myself, I couldn't get past the paycheck.
Right.
I couldn't get past the paycheck. And right through, before we opened the restaurant, that was like in the before COVID. And, you're working a lot of long hours. And the job market has changed. It's changed.
Right.
So you're supposed to be in this higher position, but you in the store is working. You're working next to the DMs, the general managers. You're working right next to them because there's no help. But it was a lack of appreciation. A lack of appreciation, and some things that I just saw coming within the whole industry that was going to change. And I had already started the build out of the restaurant, but I just still plan on working. I said, I just work until I know it gets on the ground. And one day I just was there, I'm like, no, I can't do this anymore. And put my 2 weeks in.
Oh, okay.
It just came. And I did it.
And I think that says a lot, because you made a decision, you knew that you could do it, and sometimes that's how it happens. You just have to take that leap of faith and just go through it and decide that this is what I'm going to do. And I know that there are a lot of challenges in terms of, like I said, sometimes with finances and just people believing in you and some people wanting to help you. And I'm sure that you get a lot of advice. Yes. I'm sure you get a lot of advice. And so how do you determine what advice that you're going to take? And I mean, you're going to listen, of course, but then you have to kind of discern, like, what advice am I going to take from people?
Knowing where you are in your business. Some advice that people are giving you is great advice, but you're not at that level yet for the advice that they're giving you. Okay. And that can just be from a support standpoint. How much more can you take on right now? From a financial standpoint, can you do the things that they're saying you need to do to move forward right now? And so a lot of advice is good, and some advice it isn't, because they don't understand the full scope of it.
Okay.
When you're an entrepreneur, you're wearing a lot of hats. And no matter who you employ, it still falls on you.
At the end of the day.
Yes.
That's right.
It still falls on you. So just that level of understanding that the advice is taken, but some things I just can't start the next day.
Right.
You have to put the plan in motion and make sure, because once you start it, you want to be able to be successful at it.
Right. Absolutely. So you said something else here. So planning. So how much planning? She looking at me like, what? How much planning would you say went into? So we're talking about the restaurant first. Mm-hmm. Restaurant, because we know a restaurant, that's a very competitive field. So everyone opens up restaurants, everyone opens up clubs. Mm-hmm. You see them, they're all around. So in terms of planning, opening the restaurant, how did that work for you?
It was a lot of planning. It was a lot of back and forth. Should I wait? But the overall scope and the planning of it, it was easy, because it's something that I've already done, and I worked in the industry.
Okay.
So that piece of it was easier for me. But now you're into it, and you done became more bigger. It takes a whole lot more planning. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot more planning. It takes a lot of your mental energy to do things, to try to keep certain things going. So it takes a lot of your mental energy. And one of my weaknesses is organization.
Okay.
I am not organized at all. And I'm surprised how I got along this far.
Okay.
I'm very surprised, but I'm not organized to where I would like to be.
Okay.
From where I like to be, I'm not organized at all. So I still like the plan. I want to be able to make all the decisions. I still want to clean my house from top to bottom, wash, fold, wash dishes, but I'm understanding now you can't do all that. And so I get a little frustrated. And I guess it's just a woman in me because you used to cleaning your own house.
Right.
You used to doing a lot of things yourself and understanding now you need help.
Right. And asking for the help.
And asking for the help. So that's something that I know I've definitely been on the hunt for. I need help. In order for me to expand and for me to be more creative and take that piece off me so I can continue to move and grow.
Okay. Now, we're going to take a break, but I'm going to throw this question out there before this break. Now, employees. You know I had to go there. Employees. I know that it can be a challenge finding people to work, finding responsible people, and all of that. So, how have you handled that particular challenge? We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and have you answer that question for us. Hello. We are back. And again, you are listening to Let's Talk with Lady Bland, your midweek smoothie. This is a special edition, and we're celebrating Women's History Month. And we have in the studio today, we have Miss Tamika Rowe, and she has been giving us a lot of good information about her product. And I'm going to give you all that website one more time. That website is
Restaurant website too.
Well, yeah, we can do that too. I can let you do the restaurant website as well. This is the website for the product Irvmika. It is IRVMIKA B as in boy HC.com. And that's where you can go and find all her products and to order anything you like to order. And Miss Tamika is going to give you the website, and she's going to tell you the name of the restaurant, where the restaurant is located, when they're open, so their hours of operation, the name of the restaurant, where they're located, and the website.
Okay. The name of the restaurant is Silk at Candler. The address is 2930 Ember Drive, Decatur, Georgia, 30034. My hours of operation are we closed on Mondays, open Tuesday through Sunday. We open at 12 and close at midnight Tuesday through Thursday. Friday and Saturday we close at 2 a.m.
All right. Okay, so what can people expect when they go to Silk now? Because, of course, we've been there, and we know there is music, DJ, and everything. So, any special events going on there during the week?
Well, on Tuesdays, we have Taco Tuesday at karaoke.
Oh.
Wednesdays, we doing R&B bingo. Thursday, line dancing. So everybody have their fans. Line dancing.
Yes, absolutely.
Fridays, we doing the fish fry with casual cow.
Fish fry with casual
Fish fry
cow.
Fridays. So you get the $5 fish sandwich, whiting for $5. That starts at 4 o'clock. And every second and fourth Friday, we do live bands. And the first and third Friday, we do what we'll call Blue Lights in the Basement, Old School Fridays.
All right. So we got a lot going on there. A lot going on. See, and I like stuff like that because I like theme things because I know that people tend to participate a lot when you have themes, when you're not just going there and just listening and all that. I mean, dancing and all that, that's great. But to have a theme to go along with it, excellent. Now, what is the website?
www.silkrestaurantlounge.com.
www.silkrestaurantlounge.com.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much for that. You're going to have to announce that one more time about what's going on during the week now.
Okay.
So people know they can come out.
Okay.
So when we took the break, yes, ma'am, we were talking about employees.
A huge one.
A big one. That's a big one.
one.
Talking about employees. And we know that in the industry sometimes there are challenges finding those employees that say there, that's responsible, that's going to be on time, that's all of those things. So tell us a little bit about what challenges you face in terms of employees.
The biggest challenge is reliability and committed staff. And that's when, just being reliable, dependable. If you're scheduled at a certain time, I'm waiting on my Uber, they canceled. They canceled 5 times. Well, you need to order it an hour before you get to work. Or everybody, it's always an issue getting to work on time. You have some, no problem.
Right.
They're scheduled, they're at work. And you're always going to have that 4 or 5 who can never get to work on time. And it's always a problem. Always a problem. The level of commitment, I don't even know if that's in this generation of employees today. I want my paycheck. They get a paycheck, and then some, they stay with you, I guess, until they get on their feet, and they're gone. It's all about what they can make, what they want to make coming in, but you have to be able to know how to do the job before you think you could tell somebody what to do.
Right.
And one thing with it is that a lot of them don't understand is that you can't come into any business in any facet and just walk in and think you're going to be the boss. But you can barely dice peppers.
Okay.
You can barely dice peppers, so you can't follow simple directions.
Oh, don't talk about instructions, cause
just simple directions. So that's been one of the big, like I said, the level of commitment and dependability. And it's not everyone.
Right.
Some you can get, they're really good people. You train them right, and they're with you. And you have some, it's just a waste of your time. But you got to keep your doors open. You got to keep your product going. So you're going to give them a shot. And hopefully, you can, because it's still, you want everybody to try to think like you do, be where you at, and you showing them, hey, you can do this too.
Right.
And so that's something that I have in me, and that can be a soft spot because you want everybody to get to where you are, but understanding that you can't help everybody if they don't want to help themselves.
You might want to say that one more time.
And so it becomes frustrating.
Right.
Because some of them you do see potential that they can do it, but they just choose not to. So I just keep looking for more leadership type of employees, leaders that you saying, okay, well, this person will be with me for the next 5 to 10 years or more. They'll be the head of my organization.
Right.
So that's the mindset now of what I've been gaining toward, and just trying to have it to understand that everybody that start with you, they don't grow with you. They still want to be in that same place.
That's true. And you're absolutely correct in terms of just trying to help people. You can't help everyone. And as you were saying, that some people, they just don't understand that you have to start somewhere. And you have to start somewhere. You have to be able to listen, and you have to be able to follow instructions and follow directions. And my thing is, when you get your own, you can do it the way you want to do it. But as long as you're working for me,
even when you have your own, your employees are your boss. In a lot of spectrums, because you're paying them. You're going on to make sure that everybody can still eat. So you want to make sure that you're doing what you can. And, you got your finances straight. You're right. You able to keep it to that. You able to pay your employees. They're not my boss, but I care enough about to make sure that my employees can be successful as well.
Absolutely. And that's great there. I mean, that's the sign of a good supervisor, a good manager, a good leader. That's a good sign, because if once you train people, and I mean, the reality is, people are not going to stay with you forever and ever. Some people may, but once you train them and they get that knowledge or whatever, that they can move on. If that's what they choose to do, they can move on to something bigger and better. And you know that you put that time and that work in with them so that they can do, or you're showing them not just what they're doing now, you're offering to say, okay, well, maybe you're doing this and maybe you can start doing that, to try to take that initiative.
Yes.
And we do have people, we know there are people who want something for nothing. And that does not exist. That just doesn't exist.
Not in today's time.
It doesn't exist.
No.
So very good. So is there anything that you want to add? Now, I know I'll be asking them questions for you to think about, but I know we hadn't talked much about the product, the hair care product. So how is that product doing? How do you see, or what do you see that growth of that product?
I see the growth of the product can be next to any product that's on the shelves now. It hasn't been on the back burner, but the restaurant has taken a lot of my time, my mental energy and my time. That's been my primary focus.
Okay.
I still do my products. I still love my products. That's really my ultimate dream. But the restaurant has taken a lot of my time. So I know this year, this is it.
This is 2025.
2025.
2025. That's what I say too.
And I feel that for both the restaurant and for Tamika.
Okay.
I'm in a different space. I've grown tremendously, I feel, from the employee to an entrepreneur. And the growth pains, some were good, some were bad. You still have them.
Right.
You still have them. You still learn every day. And, I surround myself more with like-minded adults. And so I'm able to gravitate and learn more from them. So I can continue to grow and just become a better person.
You know what they say now. I don't know who they are, but whoever they are, what they say, if you're the smartest person in your group, then you need to change groups.
No.
If you're the smartest person in your group, you need to change groups. Because you want to be in a position where you can continue to learn and continue to grow.
Yes. Yes.
So in terms of the restaurant, though, where do you see the restaurant going? You have a lot going on. I want you to say that one more time, too, before we get off the air. But you have a lot going on in the restaurant. So where do you see, let's just say in the next 3 years, where do you see the restaurant being?
Non-stop.
Okay, so
my ultimate dream and vision for the restaurant is non-stop. Is we have growth, we have expansion, able to open up another location.
Okay.
Where I'm at now, would love to do a total remodel, but it takes time.
Right.
So you got some things that's in the back burner that you're doing to make that happen. And so you want to be able to expand and go to other areas in Georgia that haven't, that people haven't heard of silk. And just be able to maneuver and embrace yourself all over Georgia.
Yeah, to grow, absolutely. So now, tell us again about what's going on at Silk during the week. Now, you guys listen, pay attention now.
Tuesday is Taco Tuesday and karaoke. Wednesday is R&B bingo. Thursday is line dancing from 7 to 10. And Fridays, on the second and fourth Friday, this Friday coming up, we'll have a live band. It'll be In the Groove. The next Friday, So that'd be the blue lights in the basement and just old school. We call it old school Fridays for the first and third Fridays. And we do the fish fry Fridays every Friday. No matter if we have a band or if it's old school, it's still Fish Fry Friday. It starts at 4 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Wow. That is definitely a lot going on. Yeah, I do know In the Groove Band, that's a pretty good band too, In the Groove. And yeah, we do know some of those band members in the group. Okay. So we are coming up on the hour now. I definitely have enjoyed, and I know my audience has enjoyed, our audience has enjoyed having you here with us today. And just to remind everyone, you are listening to Lady Bland with Let's Talk. This has been a special edition of our midweek smoothie. On our Wednesday, we talked about Women's History Month, and it is all month. And I say the same thing about Women's History Month that I say about Black History Month. It is Women's History Month and Black History Month every single solitary day, because we are phenomenal in everything that we do. And our history, our Black history, is every single day of the year, 365 days in a year. And so, you have any closing remarks? Miss Tamika Rowe, restaurateur, businesswoman, and hair care product.
Don't give up on your dreams.
Don't give up.
Keep your passion alive. Stay motivated. Find mentors. Find great peers that can keep you motivated through your highs and lows. Is very essential.
Right. All right. Well, you all heard it here. Stay motivated. Find mentors. Find peers. Get into groups where there are like-minded people that are there. And once again, if you're the smartest person in your group, change groups. I mean, you can stay in that group, but find you another group. Find another group. And we are so thankful today for having Miss Tamika here. We appreciate you coming out talking with us.
Thank you.